Can you keep a secret? Lock it away deep within yourself, never telling another soul, even your closest of friends and allies. You see, I told someone my secret once. I was at the local game store, hanging out, enjoying my time, when the local Stacks player inquired who my commander for the newest game was going to be, and I told them, Anim Pakal, Thousandth Moon. They make gnomes. It's awesome. I really need my commander out. And that was where I all went wrong, for they cast Nevermore, naming Anim Pakal. They cast Meddling Mage, naming Anim Pakal. They even cast Declaration of Not, naming Anim Pickle. I was a broken man. I had forgotten that real G's move in silence like lasagna, but no more, because there is strength and numbers, and thankfully I was not led astray by you this time. 3,000 of you wanted me to do Oops, all commanders, where every creature is a valid commander, and I can pick from them randomly. It's awesome. Which got me thinking, these commanders all need to be kind of the same, indistinguishable from one another, just like the British royal family. Because we all know one of them is named Charles, but they won't tell me which one because apparently it's a secret. My first thought was a Boros equipment Voltron-style deck with swords and whatnot, but then my Rhino Horn / Tiger Bone pills kicked in, and I remembered that I like playing Gruul. Red and green is just really fun to me, and so that's what the deck is going to be all about. But before we hop right into it, if you can't already tell, I'm known as the most unhinged deck builder on the internet. So if you've got a weird, wacky, crazy idea for a deck, challenge me in the comments down below. The one with the most upvotes, I have to build. Now, of course, while you're down there, leave a like and subscribe. I appreciate it. Now, unlike the British royal family, this deck is all about using violence as a tool. But just like Moses, I'm going to split it down the middle into two types of violence. Regular, punching our opponents in the face, doing combat damage, and violent ramp, where we get mana or lands in exchange for violence towards our opponents. It's pretty sweet. So, let's start simple with Xenagos, God of Marvel Rivals. He's 5 mana and makes our creatures absolutely yoked on the beginning of combat. We also make them hasty. What's not to like? Then, of course, we've got Borborygaimus. This guy is like 7 mana. He's already yoked to start with, and he makes everybody else yoked, giving them +1/+1 counters when he deals combat damage to a player. This redhead has plenty of +1 counters to spare, just like a different redhead who has stuff to spare. Then, of course, we've got Borborygaimus Enraged. This guy's 8 mana. When he deals combat damage, we find some land, probably due to imperialism. Then, of course, once we have extracted all that value, we can discard a land, moving our settlements away from it, to deal damage to any target. That's pretty sweet. But that got me thinking, maybe this secret commander deck isn't like the royal family at all, and more like South Korean boy band BTS. Because let's be honest, we all know there's a guy named Jungkook, but they're not telling me which one it is because apparently it's a secret. So, I have to assemble a boy band of my own. Naeth of the Dire Hunt is 4 mana for a 3/3 human warrior. Whenever we get into a fight or become blocked, we can draw a card, and we can pay 3 on combat to double target creature's power until end of turn. You gotta block this guy. You know who likes getting blocked? Anzrag the Mole Man. 4 mana for an 8/4. Whenever he gets blocked, untap each creature. There's an additional combat phase. You can pay 7 so he's blocked every single time, but you can also pump him up with General Marholt Elsdragon, this German elf warrior. He's got a funny name. Whenever you get blocked, it gets +3/+3 until end of turn for each creature that decides to block. So the more times they block the Quake Mole, the stronger he's getting until he's just busting through them. It's dope. Now, just like South Korean boy band BTS, we care about the dynamite in the deck. And by that, I mean, obviously, explosive amounts of mana, which is why we've got Klauth, Unrivaled Ancient. He's unrivaled in the fact that he turns power into freaking mana. An insane combination. You attack with this guy, add X mana, where X is the total power of attacking creatures. Nasty, nasty. And of course, we got Thrakis the Butcher. This 5 mana guy says whenever he attacks, double the power of each dragon we control. That includes him. That includes Klauth. That makes so much mana. But if that's not your speed, maybe you would prefer Grand Warlord Rada, a 4 mana 3/4 with haste. Whenever one or more creatures we control attack, add that much mana in a combo of red or green. Very nice. We've also got Jolene, Plundering Pugilist, a 3 mana. Whenever you attack with one or more creatures with power 4 or greater, make a treasure token. Basically, every creature is 4 or greater thanks to all the buff effects. We've also got Mina and Den Wildborn, 4 mana. We can play an additional land on each of our turns. That's ramp, right? Basically violent ramp, because we can return a land we control to our hand, giving a target creature trample. That's nice to have. And of course, we can play lands from the top of our library thanks to Rada, the other one, Heart of Keld, 3 mana, and we can buff her up, giving her +X, where X is the number of lands, then we double it, etc. It's crazy. We've also got the other Rada, Heir to Keld, and that's 3 Radas. You get a sticker, okay? Whenever Rada, Heir to Keld attacks, we can add 2 red, nice, or tap to add a green. It's free mana, what are you going to do? Redshift Rocketeer Chief is 2 mana. We can tap to add X of any one color where X is his power only to activate abilities. So not casting, but we can activate Rada, we can activate Mina and Den, etc. It's pretty good. And we can exhaust him for 12, putting any number of permanents from our hand onto the battlefield. This guy will tap for big amounts after combat because we buffed him up. It's cool. Then, of course, finally, Rulik Mons, Warren Chief, 4 mana. When this guy attacks, we can look at the top card of our library, which we already knew about thanks to Rada, Heart of Keld. Then, if it's a land, we can put it onto the battlefield. That's free ramp. If not, then we get a 1/1 Red Goblin. Hey, what's not to like? Now, of course, that got me thinking. Maybe this isn't like South Korean boy band BTS at all, but instead like BBC child program The Teletubbies, in the way that everybody knows one of them is Tinky Winky, but they won't tell me which one because apparently it's a secret. And since our commander is a surprise to everybody, us included, I threw in cards like Obscuring Haze and Deflecting Swat, which we get to cast for free because we control a commander. Doesn't matter who our commander is, just that we have one. We've also got Klaus Will. We get both modes, destroying stuff and dealing damage. I like both of those. We've also got Jessica's Will, 3 mana, but we get to add mana and play the top 3 cards from exile. That's pretty good. We've also got Will of the Sultai, a new card for 5. We get both modes because we have a commander probably. We mill a bunch of cards and then return all of our land from the graveyard to the battlefield. That's pretty good. And we get to make one guy really big, where X is the number of lands we control, and it gains trample. What's not to like? We've also got Kamal's Will, 4 mana. We get both. Our lands turn into land creatures with indestructible and vigilance and haste. They're cool. And a target creature we don't control gets attacked by everybody that we do control. That's pretty scary. We've also got Tome of Legends, giving us card draw for having our commander attack or be on the battlefield. And Myth Unbound, reducing the commander tax because now it costs 1 less. That's good. And we draw a card. Hey, cool. We've also got Raised by Giants, making our commander creatures 10/10s, regardless of what they were before. Guild Artisan, which gives us 2 treasures whenever our commander attacks somebody who has the most life. And of course, Hardy Outlander for 2. Our commander doubles its power whenever it attacks the player with the most life. It's basically Xenagos on a background. Very nice. We don't even need Xenagos. Just gives them that +X. Now, just like the Teletubbies BBC Child's Program, we need to learn how to count, which is something I think the Teletubbies teach, because our commanders range from 2 mana all the way to 8 mana, meaning we can do a little bit of gambling on the cards in our deck. We've got Tangleweave Armor, 4 mana, equipped creature gets +X, where X is the greatest mana value among our commanders. That could be 2, that could be 8. Pretty neat. We've also got Imposing Grandeur, 5 mana. Each player may discard their hand and then draw cards equal to the greatest mana value of a commander they own on the battlefield or in the command zone. 2 cards, 8 cards, somewhere in the middle. Pretty sweet. We've also got Majestic Genesis for 8 mana. Reveal the top X cards of my library, where X is the greatest mana value of a commander you own on the battlefield or in the command zone. Put any number of permanent cards from them onto the battlefield, and then put the rest on the bottom. Really sweet if we got the 8 mana. Still okay if we got the 2. It is what it is. We also got Cactus Preserve, because I like this one. For 3 mana, Cactus Preserve becomes an XX, where X is the greatest mana value. Could be a 2/2, could be an 8/8. That's not too bad. We've also got Fury Storm for 4 mana. Whenever you cast it, copy it for each time we've cast our commander from the command zone, and we may choose new targets. We can copy target instant or sorcery, choosing new targets. So this is good when our commander is 2 mana, not as good when our commander is 8 mana. You know what it is? You know how I'm saying. So I did the math, of course. The average mana value of a random commander from the deck is 4, just like the number of Teletubbies from hit BBC show Teletubbies, which got me thinking, maybe this deck really is more like the British royal family coming full circle because I did a little bit of nepotism. Haven't mentioned it yet, but Minsk and Boo is in the deck. I like him. You make a hamster, make him big, swing at your opponents. Cool. Atali Primal Conqueror is in here. Big creature, big damage, infect, win, awesome. Zilortha is Godzilla. I like that. It's in the deck. Hans Eriksson, we get a guy who's out tapped and attacking. Cool. He might die, but he's cool and he's a big guy. We've got Rurik Thar, unbowed, 6/6, does damage. What's not to like? Now, of course, this is when I would talk about the game plan of the deck, but since our commander is randomized every single game, it could be General Marhal, could be Rada, could be Atali, doesn't matter. We're going to ramp, get some land, then we're going to use Rishkar's expertise, return the Wild Speaker, Momentous Fall, to draw cards equal to the amount of power. Because we got a lot of power, we can protect our board with Hajar, Loyal Bodyguard. All our creatures are legendary, giving them +1 and indestructible. What's not to like? Borborygaimus might be the guy to win the game for us. Could be randomized, just put whoever you want to be in this slot. Give him more power with Xenagos or Hardy Outlander, or both, theoretically. Hit him with the Temur Battle Rage, giving them double strike. And if they got 4 or greater power, now they got Trample, so we can just punch through our opponents and do 1 billion damage to them, to their face. Basically, we will win. It will be smooth like butter. Now, of course, that brings us to the end of the video. If you liked it, hey, leave a like. If you subscribe subscribe. If you want to join the Discord, it is linked in the description down below. And of course, massive shout out to my patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much for supporting me. And hey, if you have something you want me to build, leave it in the comments down below. The one with the most upvotes, I have to build. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.